Hi, I'm Jason Gore for ThatShelf.com, and we're here to look at the latest anthology from Vinyl Me Please.
Big shelf.
So our friends of EMP keep hitting it out of the block. Out of the park? There we are, hitting it out of the park. Ugh, does the Pope shit in the woods. Keep hitting it out of the park with their anthology series, a really wonderful curated selection. We've looked at a number of them on this channel before, the Herbie Hancock. The most recent was one of the Philadelphia series. And so we want to look at Cadet Records. This is really a historic label. Lost Sounds Found. I don't know how lost the Cadet Record stuff was, but certainly stuff for us to actually pay attention to. The way the VMP stuff works is that's the standard box, but they actually get different tape for each anthology. So I'm going to carefully de-tape, as it were, as we open it up and see what we have inside. Now, this stuff isn't the cheapest, especially when you're here in Canada. Duty and all of that stuff becomes an issue. But nonetheless, it's a real amazing limited edition set, usually of fantastic quality, and I'm pleased to have many of them in my collection. We have a little letter. There's a world of excitement in Cadet. It all started with a liquor store in the Chicago Southside Ghetto. It became a corner tavern with a 5-cent per play jukebox, and then the Macacomba Lounge, where you could get food, alcohol, and live music. A real ghetto nightclub, a hangout for prostitutes, drug dealers, and after-hours musicians. Became my family's first extended exposure to jazz and live music. So this is Marshall Chess talking about working with Cadet Records. So, again, Marshall's own history is goes for many ways without saying, but certainly Chess Records being one of the definitive labels in Chicago. We got a nice little sparkly sticker. It's actually quite nice. VMP. I have all these VMP stickers all over the place. I don't know what I'm going to ever do with them, but you know, we have stickers, we have the letter, and then we have this. So here's the Cadet box. Cadet on the side, and on the back, Terry Collar, Rotary Connection, Shades of Brown, Ramsey Lewis, Muddy Waters, Harold Land Quartet, Dorothy Ashby, and Etta James. I mean, just some giants, absolute giants there. Now, inside the set, some records that I own already. I do have a first pressing of the Ramsey Lewis, for example, but even when you actually have first pressings for a lot of these, the actual vinyl quality isn't particularly amazing. Again, a lot of the mid-70s stuff, for sure, was affected by oil embargo, so the actual vinyl itself isn't particularly awesome. And even if you find one that visibly looks like it's in pretty good shape, it doesn't sound particularly amazing. And so if you actually have a label that actually does essentially audiophile releases of the stuff that was never treated with the audiophilic respect, you're in for a real treat. So let's look at this. Inside, again, nice robust box set. Really do have to find the right outer for these to actually keep them. But for right now, and inside we have our series of records. So we have, unsurprisingly, a book. There's a world of excitement in Cadet. And so we have here an essay, Steven Anderson. Sorry if I'm hitting the microphone. But yeah, a bunch of really awesome stuff, including labels of what we're getting here. This incredible Dorothy Ashby record. They have James. I don't know this record. I'm really looking forward to actually hearing it. Electric Mud, absolute classic. Muddy Waters. This Mother Nature's Son, this Ramsey Lewis doing the Beatles is an amazing, amazing record. I can't wait to actually hear it as part of this series. SOB, Shades of Brown, and this. And so the funny thing about Rotary Connection is we always talk about streaming and what's going on with all this stuff, and then the Terry Collar. But back to Rotary Connection. For what it's worth, Spotify is my sort of main streamer of choice. And I've honed the Spotify discovery to such an extent that I'm just literally discovering stuff I did not know. I knew about a whole bunch of people in Rotary Connection. I had no idea that the band existed. And when it actually came up on one of my selections, I really dove into it pretty hard. I picked up a couple of the earlier records. Obviously knew Minnie Riperton. I knew the stuff that she was doing after the fact. But going backwards to the stuff that they're doing with Rotary, was a pretty amazing journey just within the last 6 months, which ironically coincided with when this was announced. So of all the titles in here, it's actually the Rotary Connection one that I'm most excited, because this particular one has been really hard to find. Tell Mama, Etta James. I believe, if I'm not crazy, I have a mono of this, of a recent release. It might have even been a VMP release. Somebody, Four Men with Beards, one of them came out. But yeah, this incredible record by Etta James. Now, I gotta say, the covers are this sort of like smooth, not super glossy. They are sort of flip back. Sort of, yeah, like, I don't know how to describe it. It's not quite flip back, but it's essentially like a single tip on, is I guess probably what it is. But there we are, the Etta James in mono, sort of a copy as part of the box set. Super looking forward to that. Now this, here we go. The Afro Harping. Now, there was another, as part of the VMP Classics, another Dorothy Ashby, but this is sort of the main one, that she goes, nothing like jazz harp. I think it's Grooving with Soulful Strings is the other one that I have. But yeah, Soulful Vibrations, Games, Lonely Girl, Life Has Its Trials. Here we are, African-American harpist doing jazz harp. God bless Dorothy Ashby. Cannot wait to see it. I haven't actually looked at the records, see what they actually come. Here they are in sleeve, obviously just normal black vinyl, but the pressing looks, completely perfect. No fingerprints, no nonsense. Isn't it nice when it's done? A little bit of dust, but nothing dramatic. The fact that we did an unboxing just the other day of a one-step that certainly looks less clean than this. I understand that there are industrial areas where you actually make records, but it's just driving me a little bit crazy that the care and attention isn't paid, even for these so-called high-end ones. It's really nice when this seems to have been. Harold Land Quintet, that's what we're talking about. This is a record I don't know at all, but that cover looks absolutely amazing. I realize I should probably show the back, the Dorothy Ashby Afro Harping, Dorothy Harper, and the Etta James on the back. So yeah, this Harold Land Quintet, what's on here? Peacemaker, Style and 40 Love, Angel Dance, Timetables, Imagine, The Aquarian, and One for Nini. Harold Land on sax, Bobby Hutcherson on vibes, Joe Sample on piano. Well, there we go. Donald Bailey and Buster Williams on bass. Recorded in Hollywood. Yeah, I'm super excited about what this will play. The nicest thing I can think to say about Harold Lloyd is that I've never heard him on record, either as leader or as a sideman, where his playing has been less than excellent. That's according to Mort Vega. So there you go. I've never heard of him, and now I have this as part of this selection. I look forward to actually digging into him. Here is Electric Mud. This, first of all, there we go. Look at that. Absolutely amazing gatefold. You have Muddy Waters doing essentially electric blues. I just want to make love to you. Hoochie Coochie Man, let's spend the night together. She's all right. I'm a man. Herbert, Harper's Free Press, Tomcat, and same thing. So this is like, you got the people like the Rolling Stones going to Chess Records to actually record stuff and extolling the virtues of people like Muddy Waters to a white audience in America that hadn't been listening to them. And it's so this weird cross-cultural pollination going on into the British invasion coming back and highlighting the stuff that is actually being done in Chicago from a whole bunch of people that come in from the South. So this is an incredibly important record. And yeah, look at that snake on the back. What's not to love? Speaking of British invasion and the sort of cross-cultural pollination, we have Ramsey Lewis. Now, Ramsey Lewis is essentially somewhere between a Ray Charles and a lounge guy. Absolutely incredible monster player, but did a lot of stuff that was essentially leaned towards the easy listening, the instrumental stuff, but such an incredible monster player that when you actually have the stuff, the soul and the groove, sampled all the hell, Ramsey Lewis stuff, but if you actually dig through, if you get through some of the schmaltz, it's absolutely amazing. Truly extraordinary instrumental stuff. The whole deal with this is that these are all Lennon McCartney tunes. Mother Nature's Son, Rocket Raccoon, Julia, Back in the USSR, Dear Prudence, Cry Baby Cry, Good Night, Everybody's Got Something to Hide Except for Me and My Monkey, Sexy Sadie, and Blackbird. So essentially White Album stuff done by Ramsey Lewis. Charles Stepney doing all the arrangements and conduction. What else do we have in here? Yep, just the regular record. Again, slightly weird how it gets sort of squished like this, which is totally fine because we know that this is going to be replaced with my Vinyl Storage Solution labels. Not labels, inner sleeves, excuse me. Now, here we go. Sounds of Blackness. Shades of Brown. There we are, the other SOB. Shades of Brown. Ugh, amazing cover. Beautiful colors. It really works out well. I already got a little bit of schmutz on here, but that'll clean up nicely. Bobby Miller, Richard Evans doing the arrangement, recorded at Terramar Studios in Chicago, Illinois in 1970. Know nothing about this record, but it looks absolutely amazing. And this was the one, as I said, that it was actually totally made me jump the gun on. Rotary Connection, the new Rotary Connection, Hey Love. Again, one of those at the time relatively rare multicultural bands. Minnie Riperton, Kitty Haywood, Shirley Walls, Dave Scott on tenor. So there we go. We got Dave Scott playing horns on this. Sidney Sims, Donnie Simmons, Phil Upchurch, Pat Ferrari, and Master Henry Gibson. So Minnie Riperton being the sort of most prominent here. Incredible voice, 5 octaves, something ridiculous like that. And here they are doing a bunch of stuff, again, including some number of Charles Stepney things. Charles Stepney, of course, being who actually contributed to this. So these two very much have Stepney's involvement in them. Super, super, super excited about this particular record. Some sort of mix between hippie soul, what's not to love. And then finally, we have here Terry Collier, Occasional Rain, produced by Charles Stepney. With Charles Stepney on harpsichord and organ, Sidney Sims, Terry Collier, Minnie Riperton, again singing here on soprano, Shirley Wallace on contralto, and Earl Madison on cello. Again, all part of the same sort of community that's putting all this stuff together. The Terry Collier Occasional Rain, brought to you on Cadet. So there's an entire story here that I'm frankly relatively ignorant about. I know some of the stories, some of the performers, some of the elements that actually come through here. But this really feels like I'm getting a education in this particular label through our friends of Vinyl Me Please. What's nice is that they actually have a podcast that they actually put together. It's essentially a radio documentary where they tell the story of this, like they did with the Herbie, like they did with the Women of Motown. But again, for a bunch of those, I probably know more about the backstory than I do for the stuff on Cadet. I know Cadet was this sort of strange sort of somewhere between psych and folk and soul and all these elements sort of taking place in and around the Chicago area. Something for me super excited and something for me to actually dive into. So there we are, a look at the Vinyl Me Please Cadet box set for thatshelf.com. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe. Let us know on social media what you think of these videos. Let us know what you think of these releases. We'd love to hear from you. Whether this is something that you're excited about picking up, and maybe a bunch of artists that you are interested in exploring. We would love to hear from you. We will see you next video. Take care. All the best.